chicken before it's in your
I had to choke the chicken.
All right.
Yeah, it was the perfect time.
Welcome back to part 2 of our second interview with Jordan from Finance and Maneuver.
Thank God.
And I get to do this every time because I met 7 people, all of different J names, all at the same time.
Dude, this
So while
fire
this stick
is pissed.
is going nuclear on us, it's going turtle nuclear. While that's happening, Jordan, would you introduce yourself one more time while I laugh at this thing trying to burn my house down?
I'm Jordan, speaking on behalf of the entire team at Finance and Maneuver. We do some finance stuff, make some clothing sometimes, and we pretend to be good skydivers.
Pretend to be good skydivers.
We
All
do
right.
podcasts on occasion.
On occasion. Yeah, I mean, for those who are just jumping in for part 2, you were like the 4th guest to come on the show, and you did have something to do with kind of kicking me to get to just finally do the thing. And I really appreciate that. Sometimes good advice has to come from complete strangers, and sometimes those strangers end up becoming decent friends. So
it's a strong word.
Decent. Well, okay, indecent friends.
But
I mean, we share good company with bad morals. And the other useful phrases that we're going to find in this conversation.
Let's avoid some of these ones that we said off camera.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they'll find their way into the chatter eventually. But let me start with a hard question again. Is that sometimes, like, I know you as a person, and I've gotten to know you, but sometimes even I have a hard time kind of figuring out what is the goal of Finance and Maneuver. Like, what's the point that you're trying to make? Now, and I admit this, is that, like, ambiguity is a thing today.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just a brand.
Sometimes it's sick.
Sometimes ambiguity is the drip.
Dude.
You got to say that in a super analytical way. Like I'm a professor at Harvard, and I've never seen a girl, but I've got the drip.
This has all been tough to listen to. I'm gonna be honest with you.
It's gonna hurt, yeah. So what do
Yeah,
the
why?
Finance and Maneuver do?
What the fuck are you doing, man? What are the goals? There's no strongly set goal. There's no end plan. There's no this is exactly where we need to be to feel satisfied and fulfilled. There's gonna be a lot of different things that we pursue. We have some humanitarian work that we're super interested in pursuing in the near future. Very, very interested. We're already working on the logistics behind it, the why, how to accomplish what we want to accomplish, and what is that. So kind of sitting there going through the planning phases, working up to execution, getting over to where we're going. Humanitarian, I'd love to start a 501c3 that does good things and is super transparent, but I can manage and I know exactly where the money is going, and I know that I'm making the best impact possible. Granted, that comes with the issue of perception, which again, transparency. I think if it's done right, it'd be cool. But 501c3, I'd like to do some screen printing and embroidery at the small level, but overall, there's no big overarching business plans. But on a more important level, which again, community before company, just want to bring people together, man. Just want to bring as many people together to meet new faces and potentially make a new gym buddy. Everything else may raise as much money as we can for cool charities that we know are doing good things. Try to make small impacts every day and big impacts on occasion. We just all want to feel like we're doing good things.
Yeah. As a philosopher, even I engage with the problem of sometimes you get too caught up in a certain level of minutia to then act, and you never actually go do it. And there's a certain language about this, and there's a criticism that oftentimes gets leveled at philosophers because of reputations that people have brought in from the French Continentals and from these certain people who were wrongly titled as philosophers when all they really did was just sort of ramble on about things that never really mattered to them. Or maybe that's not even the right way of saying it. But
you're talking about me.
Yeah, well, there's criticism to be laid at the feet of kind of the philosophy world.
Sure.
Because every once in a while somebody comes into the philosophy world and makes a big hubbub, a big noise, and then everyone they demand everyone's attention until at some point in time suddenly they kind of come out to realize none of it's real to them anyway. And it's all acting, and it's all presentation, and it's all false intellect focus. There's a term that the philosophaster that comes up in this title every once in a while of somebody who's more interested in that sophistry of like appearing smart than actually being smart, or appearing wise instead of being wise. And so I wanted to ask you this question because like I admire a lot of the things that you guys do, and sometimes I'm wondering like what drives you. Sometimes it's interesting to see because I don't want to get so bogged down in the weeds of even looking at it. Philosophy is something that has to lead to action.
Sure.
And sometimes that action is study. But sometimes that action is action, like you going out and doing something, touching grass. Training is you got to train and you got to touch grass. You got to train is sometimes the training part is the touching grass. You can't theorize about CQB all day long. You got to sometimes just go out and do it. And so, community, go.
Why am I doing this? Why does it matter to me? Why are we doing this as a team? Dude, on the most basic level, the fulfillment that we get from doing our own thing, the fulfillment that I get from running a company and being able to live how I want to live, is freaking incredible. I love the way that I'm able to live now. I love being able to manage what is my just absolute baby of a company, you know. Care about it so much. But I don't think that I could feel okay with myself if I was doing all of this for myself alone. I don't think that I could possibly make a really decent paycheck and not give back. I don't think I'd be comfortable with myself. I think that I'd feel like a pile of garbage. And I don't really want to find out whether I would, to be honest. I mean, that's a very basic answer, I know, but I want to know that I'm doing what's right. I want to follow my gut, my instinct as a man, and build a story for myself that I would be comfortable looking back on. So I don't want to second guess life and wind up dying and being like, oh, dude, what a turd. You had one shot at this and you just sucked, you know? So
your life, what for?
Yeah, why did I exist if I'm not like doing exactly what feels the coolest and the most fun and the right?
Right, yeah. And so it is a question that I do believe haunts every man is like, what are you living for? What is something that you're willing to live for, and what is something you're willing to die for? And those are hard questions, but they are questions that must be asked. They really do. Like, you can avoid them, but we have many fables and stories and examples of people who have avoided question until it was no longer avoidable, and they were in greatest tragedy, incapable of answering it anymore.
Chocolate chip.
What the hell? Is this like camo pattern?
I'll tell you about it later. It was a great question that was answered. Yeah, I'll tell you about it later.
Is that against the rules? Like, can you do that?
Bring up a meme reference and then explain it off camera?
Yeah, is that against the rules?
They'll see it eventually. If they're on, Instagram, they're podcast people, bro. They're gonna see the meme.
They'll find it.
Chocolate chip. It's the Honorable Mr. Biden. Responding to a pretty interesting question.
Let it go. So let's reiterate a question that we started on part one, and let's go dig back into it. Is that you've got there are a lot of people in the finance and maneuver family, let's just call it, or the finance and maneuver community, and they go out and do so. Like if someone here is listening to the show and they're like, hey, you know what, that might be an opportunity for me to get involved into a community. How would you recommend them getting started? And what should they expect to bring to the table?
PMA, dude. PMA. It's just PMA.
PMA?
Yeah, positive mental attitude.
Mental attitude.
Bring a smile.
Yeah.
I don't know, just show up. You want something to do, show up. Just come out. What's the worst that happens? You're just as bored as you were? I don't know. Maybe it'll be cool. Maybe it won't, but like you're not losing too much. You have interest in getting together with us, and that is for a very simple reason. You're probably in belief of the things that we are. You're just a like-minded person. You see the same problems that we do, and you want to connect with people that want to do the same things as you. Cool. Come do it. Don't just show up a certain way. Just do it. Be cool. Have fun.
So, is the required uniform AOR 1?
No, dude.
I have to ask that
Toe-less
question.
shoes, though.
Not just in the shoes. I have to ask that question.
Toe-less shoes.
Toe-less shoes?
Show them off, dude.
Oh, you're not the Crocs gang.
See them dogs.
Okay. I have to bring that question up because it seems like there's an over amount of emphasis of people complaining about people having things. And there was a question that was brought up recently by somebody who listens to the show, and I got to thank you, Caleb, for bringing it up. And he said, it's a little ironic, and I'm phrasing you wrong. I know I'm paraphrasing you as best as I can, but he said it's a little strange that people in the gun community complain about people being interested in guns in the gun community. I was like, yeah, it's kind of it's a good way of putting it. It's like, isn't that what the gun community is about? More, for sure. We definitely have a deeper part, but like that tends to be like the avenue of approach that we can like, hey, I have these values. Do you have these values as well?
Sure.
So
No, I agree with. Well, all right. So a few steps back, just to kind of tie it together. You asked me why certain people were attracted to us. It's because they see this crazy media. What do they believe in? Maybe they're angsty. Maybe they just like art. But if they're angsty, okay, cool. We get it. We understand why. Let's make a difference now.
When you say angsty, what do you mean?
I don't know. Maybe they're, like you said earlier, the accelerationist, the doomer, the nihilist. Okay, show up then. Maybe that's what your common like shared interest is. Maybe you understand that we understand, and you want to talk to some of us or be around us. Okay, come out, but expect to be driven or pushed to make some kind of a positive change today.
I remember it was Jordan Peterson, and I believe it was him who said it. That said, men want something demanded of them.
Sure.
And I know we're talking about men in that regards, but like men want something demanded of them, and this motif comes up very often in statements like there are no rites of passage anymore.
Okay.
And sometimes I made the mistake in one way of seeing the military as being my sole rite of passage, and when it couldn't fulfill all the expectations that I placed on it, I became bitter.
Yeah. And
so even in our world that we live in now, the idea of a rite of passage is difficult to produce. And even then, you have to ask, before you're going to try to create a rite of passage, what's it for? And sometimes you see this in like recreation of gangs, and you see this in the motorcycle gangs. You see this common motif through history, especially amongst men, is that they want something demanded of them. They want to be able to prove themselves.
Yeah.
And in order to prove themselves, you have to have somebody you want to prove yourself to. And sometimes we learn that those people are not worthy of it. And sometimes that we learn that we wanted them to do something that they couldn't do from the beginning.
Yeah.
We're out in nature, so I guess that's what happens.
I thought I had a friend. He bounced, dude.
Well.
Oh, well.
It is good to be out here in the backyard. But how have you how do you think of like rites of passage in our day and age?
I think that they kind of appeal to the people who are, again, chasing titles or value titles over their own self-defined self-worth. I think that rite of passage is not a necessary thing. I mean, you think of like 8th and I or Ranger Battalion or whomever with their hazing, and like, yeah, some of it's like, okay, rites of passage, maybe Blood Wings, whatever it is. Airborne, cool. You earned this, that's cool. Feel proud. But a rite of passage for the sake of a rite of passage is not the most important thing in my mind, as much as maybe being pushed to create your own self-worth. I just define what is success to yourself. Define what is happiness and how to attain it. Maybe moving away from trying to impress others and just yourself.
I think you'll make mistakes along the way, but that's what happens. You said something. You said you were talking about a rite of passage for the sake of a rite of passage. That's an interesting way of thinking. I haven't thought of it that way, and that makes a lot of sense.
It's just people looking for a way to feel proven. Just like you said, I don't know how to assign myself confidence. I don't know how to, pick who I want to be. I don't know where I'm going. I'm confused. I'm lost. It's like the third time I brought it up, and I don't want to admit it out loud. But here's this rite of passage. I can go do this mud run. I can, whatever it is in the military, whatever you're doing, drinking a fifth and running through the woods.
I mean, in one sense, Ranger School was that for me at a while. I thought it was going to be my rite of passage.
Dude, I so thought I was going to graduate boot camp from the Marine Corps and I'm a man. No, dude.
No, it's a continual process.
No, so it's always the next one, and it's kind of like chasing the dragon. You ever going to catch it? Probably not, unless you are deciding what the goal is.
As we grow, we become more able of. As we grow, we should desire to become more able at accurately aiming at what our objective is.
I love the idea of like the community event. The first time you were out there, you saw it, you helped set up the shooting competition. Thank you again.
Oh no, of course.
But like, did people have to do it? No, but you come out and you're gonna feel like maybe you should do this.
Yeah.
And it's who cares about the competition, dude? But you went out there and you showed up in front of like some of your peers potentially, and you ran it, dude.
Yeah, it's great.
And it's for you.
I think the competition world does bring two good things to the table, but one of them oftentimes comes at a risk. And one of the good things is that when you go shoot competition with people, you find other people there to shoot competition.
Yeah.
It kind of gets redundant in our earlier conversation, but there's something good about that. Is that like, okay, I'm willing to go do this in front of other people.
Yeah, so I just got a message. Actually, I got 2 messages from 2 separate people, both from the Arizona chapter. They're like, hey, July 1st, there's this range thing we're doing. We're all getting together. You're more than welcome to come. Thank you for the invite. It's a FM range day. I'm invited. It's badass. Cool. We go out there. Maybe we're not running a competition, but we're just running drills. And you're going to be able to see all these individuals come out and do it. Dude, sometimes that sucks, having those eyes on you, feeling like, okay, I want to be proficient. What if I go out there and I suck? Okay. I still went out there and I did it.
Do you encounter people who have a difficulty going to the range and just running a drill? Like, not difficulty as in
like a skill thing?
No,
or
not
like
a skill
confidence?
thing. Of like, it seems like I'd love to do that, but I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, I mean, we get people who are not used to training with intent.
Fair.
So why can't we spread that to them? And that's like a big thing of getting together and just a little knowledge transfer on a low level. It's cool. But I think what we see more of is people coming out and they don't want to, or like they're stressed out about running that drill. They're worried about the judgment of others. So it's a cool opportunity for us to have them come out and just show some support and teach them things as we go. And like, hey man, this is a self-betterment thing. It's not a competition with others necessarily. It can be if you want it to be. Like if that's fun for you, cool. But this is more so for you, and it's a confidence building thing.
This draws into my theory, my idea, and it's not exclusively mine, but this idea of sometimes it's good to do it for its own sake.
Yeah.
Like don't get too caught up in. I see this happening all the time, or I see this happening every once in a while. Less now, more in the past, of people being so concerned about getting the perfect training that they never get started.
Yeah.
And I think that's going away. I do. Like, I think that's going away. Like, people are willing to go out and do more stuff on their own, and they're exploring what many of us learned in the military. And the most classic example, I think, is kind of funny, is like CQB, is that a lot of the issues that we were running into on the training side post-military on CQB is that there was just a great discomfort in even teaching it.
Yeah, sure.
But I think that discomfort has gone away.
A little bit.
And quite a bit. I mean, even with people like OTG. But if you want to look at it kind of in a funny way, many of us who were in the military started learning CQB like after our second flat range. And it might have been glass houses, and it might have been, little demonstrations, but it's like I didn't have like a qual 1, a qual 2, a rifle 1, a rifle 2, a pistol 1, a pistol 2, and then a CQB class. I like did a couple of quals with a rifle or with a carbine in the military, and then boom, we're starting to learn MOUT or CQB or whatever.
Straight into the fire.
And then it became this cyclical process. So some days we went. Some days, by the time I even got into battalion, because you at the time it was RIP, and you don't learn a lot about this stuff in RIP, but you kind of make sure that you don't learn a lot about CQB and RIP, but you have to kind of do certain things.
RIP is RASP now?
RIP has become RASP. So it was at the time it was Ranger Indoctrination Program, and now it's Ranger Assessment and Selection Program.
Just making sure I was on the same page.
Yeah. So that if that dates me, like I got into battalion when it was still called RIP. And up until you get into battalion, you're kind of doing these familiarizations of these things. And there's a constant saying that goes around in the military is that you'll really learn these things when you get into the military, and when you get into your unit.
Yeah.
And so when we were in our unit, some days we would go train CQB, some days we would train flat range stuff, and but it wasn't purely this progression. So when I look at it outside of the military, I'm starting to now wonder if that progression is even valid. The way that it is, the way that our like gun culture approaches it so much. Now there are certain things that need to be established. Like you need to be able to, you need to be able to. The instructor needs to know that you're going to function with some modicum of awareness of your firearm, which we would call firearm safety. But that we'd wanted a student to not be so afraid of the firearm that they're only focused on the firearm when they're moving through an urban environment, which I think the goal of training is to become capable and competent and confident in your firearm, not just to hit your target. There's so much more to it. So even with your range days kind of stuff, your community events and stuff like that, do you how heavy of the focus is do you oftentimes see it on training and just, or how often times do you see it just going out and doing things together?
They go pretty hard, dude.
They go pretty hard.
It's pretty cool, but it's an enjoyable thing, you know. I mean, they're getting together and they're doing things that they enjoy. It's a balance. They can train as hard as they want to, and it's fine as long as people enjoy it. But I think the focus is more on just getting together and doing the thing, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't matter exactly what you do as long as you're doing something. That's a whole lot better than remaining stagnant.
That I believe in. That is something that I believe in, is that we are able to put in like cautionary left and right adjustments in certain things as a community and as individuals, but we're able to do that better because we're in better communication with one another.
Are efficiency and safety important? Yeah, of course. But is it really going to detract from what we're learning? Just doing fundamental stuff? Is it really going to hurt us to go out and do something interesting, to have fun with it?
No.
Probably not. And I mean, beyond that, even if we're just out there doing something very simple, okay, we're drilling the fundamentals. Is that not going to improve everything?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a whole lot of different ways to look at it. It's just good to see these guys getting out and doing it, man, honestly. So how hard is the focus on doing the most high-tempo drills and the hardest things? I don't know. Not that high.
But you didn't come from like a special operations background.
No.
And I'm assuming that not everybody who is in the FM family is a special operations background guy. Yeah. I think it's inevitable. I think it's doing well. But what is something that you would like to see change in gun culture?
I'd like to see us bridge the gap more between standard civilians who are interested in firearms, veterans, LEO, soft dudes. And that's kind of something that we've tried to encourage just in our videography. So, okay, you and I went to Red Rock not that long ago, Sasco. We did some training under Kyle Morgan. Kyle was a dude from the unit.
Unit guy.
Did some really cool stuff. Very highly trained, helped to develop a lot of the Delta training programs. We're just out there, dude, and we're with like a Air Force security forces dude. We're with you. Who else is out there? One of our guys just does medical stuff locally in Arizona. He's a non-veteran. He's non-soft, but we're training under that animal that is Kyle. We make a video about it, and the description's like, hey, you know, if we are doing this as absurd as we are, why can't you? So kind of the idea, maybe it's not the perfect approach, but the idea is like, dude, if you have an interest, why would you limit yourself? Why would you not want to be connected with these people? And as the instructor, a potential instructor, as this person with a wealthy background, why would you not want to help somebody with that underlying interest?
Do you see cases, do you get to observe cases where there is a bridging of that gap? Because
dude, all the time.
I recognize that the gap is there, but I honestly don't think it's as big.
I think it's one of those self-created limitation things.
Yeah, I guess I don't see it really that much, to be honest.
We go skydiving with 18s and Rangers all the time, and they are cool as hell. And we plan out these range days, and maybe we do them. Cool. Maybe they get introduced to the rest of the family. Cool. Why can't that happen? You know, the opportunity's there. What's wrong with it? These dudes want to learn. Learn.
Yeah,
make it happen. Sometimes it takes somebody who's in a special position, like me being at Eloy all the time, running into funny hat guys. Hey, dude, you want to come shoot with us? Yeah. That kind of falls under my responsibility, but like, is it possible for the average person to do? Yeah, hit up Kyle, dude. Hit up Core Vision. you know, whoever, you know, they got a background that you want to become familiar with a little bit. You want to learn from some people who have done it. Go do it. Hit them up.
What was it like learning how to skydive? It's something I haven't done yet.
Dude, I felt so stupid. I look stupid too. I look really dumb. Man, it was fun, dude. It was one of those things where like I was sweating the whole month leading up to it. I sweat the freaking plane ride up. I was wearing a clown suit, big parachute. Didn't want to jump out of that plane. Did it. Was nervous for a second, and then it was like awesome. In every single jump, I mean at 84, which is not that much. But I've been doing it since May 1st, so 84 relatively is pretty solid.
You definitely put in a lot of, like, I've been laughing
yeah.
because you've just been out there.
Yeah, dude, just really out there. Every jump has been a little bit nerve-wracking, but I do it. And man, dude, it's so worth it. It's been worth it every single time. Obviously, there's going to be stressors and emergencies, malfunctions to deal with. Okay. I'm going to make mistakes, and is there a possibility for me to get hurt? Yes. Are those things worth it? That's up to the individual. For me, maybe. Depends on the situation. If I'm using common sense and avoiding bad situations and I'm just enjoying a skydive and then I take the standard risk that comes with that, yeah, it's pretty much worth it. Is it worth it for me to deal with the fear and the stress and the anxiety that comes with that plane ride up? As soon as I'm down, yeah, dude, of course.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same thing with anything that's challenging to process. Something that's new to you. Training with Kyle, dude. We're doing what? I'm not a soft guy. Flying Jared from Orion out the first time. Had no idea what we were doing. Just knew that I didn't want to look terrible on camera if I'm trying to like inspire people to go out and train. Fly him out, and it was awesome. And now we're friends. Cool.
It was a good weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me to that, by the way.
Oh, yeah, we were happy to have you.
It was a big change. It was right after that where we started the show.
Yeah.
And
cool times, man. It's been a good year.
Jared came on, and you came on, and it's been growing ever since.
Quality's gotten better too.
Well, you know, so you might have had a hand in that. You might have been saying,
it's all you, dude.
hey.
It's you guys.
Yeah, well, we're working on it. It's getting better. This is me being Swedish, changing the lights so you can't see that I'm blushing. But you know how it goes. And if you're listening, yeah, Swedish boy, red cheeks. It's great. So now trying to like recover some sort of constitution. Safety is a subject that I find sort of unpalatable. And it sounds weird at the front.
Hate safety.
No, I don't hate safety. It's oftentimes I see this sort of like I feel like oftentimes it's myself really where I'll complain about safety. Like people are so obsessed with safety in our day and age, and that's another thing that I'm starting to see kind of go away is with the era of like the helicopter parents and stuff. Like a lot of people went out and like safety is important, but it's not the end all be all.
Sure.
And so some of the things that we do, like, okay, so let's take some of the people that do stuff through your community and stuff. What are some of the things that they do together?
What do people in the community do?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I actually just got a video of these dudes on Memorial Day. They hiked out between two mountains. They were sitting in a valley, and I think there were like 5 or 6 of them out there. They were talking on green gear to a pilot in a Cessna 172. Dude flew over them and dropped stakes out on them. Like they called this plane into the valley. They dropped a stake out at their little campsite.
Like
on Memorial Day, like stakes in a bag with a parachute.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It was a little parachute. They had an Insta360 camera on there, but it fell off. But I'll probably post up this video again just for fun. But
that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. They're out there hiking. They're out there doing Memorial Day Murph, whatever. Get together and shoot. I mean, they just organized a range day on July 1st. They didn't ask me, dude. They just want to get together. They want to do something.
It's a good thing that you're providing.
It's really cool, man.
That's
and
nice
then when
to
we
see.
kick something off, it's generally centered around charity, and we rent out a whole range and go for it.
You have any big events planned?
Not yet. So with
that are not ready to announce?
No, dude, we're working on it, man. With the humanitarian and potential work out of state that we're looking into right now, it's hard for me to solidify a date for the next community event. Ideally, I do it on the same day. I do it every year in the same spot. And then we do smaller things around the country, just little meetups and say hi. We're real people. Let us be real people.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I'd love to do another one, and it's a big priority for me because I saw how many people were smiling that whole day.
Oh, it was a great day.
It was awesome. A bunch of us went out to get drinks afterwards too. I'm not a big drinker, but dude, that was fun. It's a karaoke bar. I acted a fool.
Yeah, well,
Great time. So it's definitely a priority to me because I know the impact that it has, and then we can tie it in with charity and make an impact there. Cool. It's just a matter of feasibility right now. And if we have opportunities to work kind of abroad that are very strongly meaningful, and I know you know this because we've talked about this a little bit, I'm going to pursue that knowing that the community can organize itself and do their own things.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my job to babysit. These dudes are all capable and they're awesome.
Yeah.
Decentralized. But yeah, I'd love to do another one. It's just, let's see how the timing is.
See how the timing is. Yeah, we got a lot going on this year.
Yeah, dude.
2023 turns out to be the year of many things.
It's interesting, right?
Yeah, right. And I mean, I guess after the long wait of 2020 into 2021 and into 2022, it seems like 2023 is a year where a lot of people are like getting out and doing
We
stuff
are
again.
so back.
We are so back. Ugh. Worst meme, best meme.
Worst meme, best meme? You want me to list off a bad meme?
Yeah, go ahead.
Anything Nokia ringtone, can't enjoy it. I don't know why. I also don't really enjoy anything with that I'm feeling lonely Korean pop band singing over it.
Oops. That's been everywhere.
I don't enjoy Subway Surfer memes, like the Family Guy with Subway Surfer underneath it. Not a big fan. Best meme? Dude. Stealing officer service weapons.
It's so dumb.
Dude.
It's so dumb.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Anything that has to do with Lucas Botkin on a green screen with a ridiculous caption, I love. Just because the way he shoots just makes it absolute gold. Whatever, anyways. Yeah, stealing officer service weapon memes.
So dumb.
I like those ones.
So dumb.
Yeah, it's really terrible. I'm a bad influence.
Ah.
I probably shouldn't have my platform, but I do, man. I'm going to post them.
Things happen. Things change.
Yeah.
So
I didn't say I was great.
I didn't
Just
say
what we're doing.
I didn't say it was great. It's just we're so back.
We are so back, dude.
So we talked a bit about community. We've talked about kind of meaning and purpose a little bit. How do you, or I guess we haven't gone into the question of meaning and purpose. We've addressed it. It's not always easy to get into, so I don't like forcing the conversation. But we've also talked about things like you'd like to see change in the gun culture. So, and I think it's happening. I think we're actually seeing it happen as that like
Again,
partition.
dude, I'm optimistic.
That partition between groups is sort of going away, and now we're starting to look at what next.
Mm-hmm.
And there will be a new hill to climb and a new challenge to face and a new problem, but I think it's coming out along really, really well in the most part. There's good things to be seen, like victories to be celebrated for sure. So it's a good place to be. It really is.
Yeah. Feeling positive, man. I think we got a bright future.
We do. Good. Good. So what's oh, that's not even a good question. I'm just kind of going,
What do you want to know?
I don't know, man. I just want to get to know you more. What makes you tick sometimes and what ticks you off?
Dude. Talk about it. We'll turn off these big studio lights and hang out under the hanging lights on the balcony over here when you talk about what ticks me off, dude.
Probably not good to complain too much.
What else you want to know, man?
I think we're going to call it. I think this has been a good episode, man. I've been looking forward to having this conversation for a long time. And sometimes it's good. I've seen this over and over again. Sometimes it's good just to sit down and talk to people.
Yeah.
And, like, get out of your own shell, get out of your own head, and open up a little bit. And it doesn't mean that everything needs to be touchy-feely, soft people. But it's good to get out and go spend time with other people.
Yeah, dude. Today was pretty fun, even though I busted my ass and broke my beer.
Yeah, well, I cooked mine, so I guess that's kind of how it played out.
That was terrible. That was the worst Modelo I've ever had.
The worst Modelo I've ever had. Which, I guess...
We earned it, dude. We earned that terrible beer.
Falling off the side of a mountain gracelessly.
I asked you not to bring it up.
Too late. You did. That was what, your third time rappelling?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it was a good time.
I sucked.
Yeah, you kind of did, but
it's pretty funny though.
You just got to do it.
It's pretty funny though.
You just got to do
It's
it.
pretty funny. That makes it worth it to me. I don't know, dude. If it's funny, I'm having fun.
We're having a good time of it.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, then we're going to do this again sometime. And next time we'll find some other goofy way to do it. But in the meantime, night vision shoots, Sur-on rides, combining those two for some madness. We'll see what comes out of it yet.
Windows with, never mind.
No!
With thermals.
Oh, thermals.
We
Dude.
have some cool thermal stuff coming up.
So the first time that I ever saw like a night vision unit, I was at there was somebody that we knew who was in the military, and I was a kid. And this is one of those things where just like it's funny because of how naive you are. And so I'm like 16 years old, and he hands me this night vision unit, and I'm like, oh cool, I can see in the neighbor's bedroom.
Hell yeah.
And it's the worst thing you could say. And the guy is like, that's probably not what you want to do. And I'm going,
nah, dude, it is.
Oh no. It's just funny.
I know you, dude.
Oh, it's the pain
you really
of
went for it, dude.
the pain of innocence.
You made your dreams reality.
I made my dreams reality, and now I run around with night vision doing dumb stuff.
I understand why you're into night vision now. I've learned something about you tonight.
Oh, there's no way forward.
I'm glad these neighbors have high walls, dude.
They do. Well, there's a good reason why we have high walls, because I know what other people are capable of. Know thyself.
Dude, you're the worst.
I am the worst. Embarrassing stories, but that's how it goes. Well, if that's going to be let us wrap it up. I think this has been this has been a really good conversation. So, where do people find you? Where do they follow up on what's going on in Finance and Maneuver? How do people find some sort of financial, like how do they find your financial, the practice that you guys provide?
The advisory stuff. Sure.
Go through the whole list.
FinanceandManeuver.com, easy starting point. Instagram is where we're most active. We got some stuff on YouTube, but it's not that interesting. It's pretty quiet over there. Sometimes we post a TikTok up if I'm feeling froggy, but not much there either. Instagram, Finance and Maneuver is the best way to find anything link-related, financial advisory work. You want to just ask me a stupid question? I really urge you guys to ask me stupid questions. Do it. Mm-hmm. I'll give you stupid answers. But, yeah, Instagram's easiest.
All right, there you go.
Smoke signals.
Smoke signals. Now, last surprising question. What's a skill set that you think people should learn that they oftentimes overlook?
Dude, please learn to use your blinkers on the highway and stay out of the left lane unless you're passing.
Yes.
I swear to God, if I see another one.
We'll give you grace. We'll call it a day. Well, this has been the Redacted Culture Cast, one of our more lighthearted episodes, but we really do appreciate the time that you spend with us. We've had Jordan here from Finance and Maneuver, and the goal of this podcast and the goal of this conversation is always to bring in more voices of different parts of culture so we can actually have community together. And I really do admire what you've been building in that. One of those things that we got to remember is the property that you have means nothing if privacy is not allotted to you. So figure out how to make that happen. Privacy is a choice. It's not given anymore. So we figure out how to make it happen. That being the case, in all irony, this is the Redacted Culture Cast. And keep your hatchet sharp and your powder dry.
Go buy a 3D printer.
All right.